Greetings everyone, this is Kevin Srino. I'm going to present to you the results of our study called Influence of Effective Stress and Transport on Mechanical and Chemical Alteration Processes at the Cement Caprock Interface. Wellbore is a major risk in carbon storage site as a single leaking well can compromise an entire reservoir. There is a large body of literature that deals with cement alteration when exposed to CO2, but those studies focus their interest either on the chemical or mechanical contribution of this alteration. In our study, we chose to consider the combined effect of chemical and mechanical alteration on cement CO2 systems. We used sample made of cement and sandstone with a reproducible fracture geometry that we call gridded aperture here. We performed core-flooded experiment and we injected CO2 brine with a PCO2 of 3 MPa into that fracture with different effective stress, 3, 7, 9, and 12 MPa. We wanted to know first how would evolve permeability, and to our surprise, there was no systematic trend between permeability response and effective stress. As you can see on this chart, for the 3 MPa experiment in blue, we can observe a constant increase of permeability. For the 7 and the 12 MPa, at the contrary, we can observe a constant decrease of permeability. For the 9 MPa, it's a little bit more complicated. We can observe a slight increase of permeability followed by a slight decrease, which result actually in a slight increase of total permeability during the experiment. So the question here is how can we explain those discrepancies? And what we are interested into is to discover what could cause the increase and decrease in permeability. Let's look at the chemical characterization first. It is known in the literature that when exposed to CO2, cement will react by forming 3 distinct regions, namely an amorphous silica layer, which is very porous, a calcite layer, and a portlandite depleted layer. Post-characterization techniques showed that those reacted volumes were similar across the sample. It suggests that the sequence and the rate of reaction were pretty similar and that effective stress had no significant impact on chemical alteration. When we look at the mechanical contribution and especially the reacted fracture surface, we can see that they're all different. The 7 MPa shows an homogeneous reacted fracture surface. At the contrary, the 3, 9, and 12 MPa shows a large unreacted pillar here, here, and so those 3 samples display a new geometry, and that leads to an effective preferential flow path. So it suggests that mechanical deformation could have occurred differently across all samples. DIC analysis supports this statement. Starting with 3 MPa, we can see no compressive strain in brown on the pillars. So, what does it mean? It means that the pillars maintain the opening of the fracture, suggesting that the increase of permeability within this sample was due to the increase of porosity within the amorphous silica layer. At the contrary, for the 7 and 12 MPa, we can observe strong compressive strain on the pillars here and here, which are witnesses of overall mechanical deformation leading to decreased permeability. At last, for the 9 MPa, who displayed both increase and decrease of permeability, we suppose a competition between mechanical deformation located on the pillars here and the increase of porosity within the amorphous silica layer. To conclude, over the range of 3 to 12 MPa, effective stress had no significant impact on reaction between CO2 and cement. The permeability changes was the result of a competition between the mechanical deformation that led to decrease of permeability and the increase of porosity within the amorphous silica layer, which leads to the increase of permeability. At last, it was a little bit difficult to quantify the impact of mechanical deformation and induced strain because the effective flow path was different in each sample. Thank you.